So right now we're doing a 180, like a 360 drill. It's 180 front to back. So we're engaging targets here, we're turning and engaging targets to the rear. Okay? So one of the things that just happened right when he was shooting, and I want to showcase real quick, is as we're engaging, you were starting to get into a stance where you're bladed off, so your hips are basically 90 degrees from where you're shooting almost. So when we're talking about doing our magazine change in our workspace, and our workspace is right here in front of our face, so I can see the target and I can see my gun at the same time, right? So what happens is you're staying with your workspace, but because your hips are sideways, when you're here and then you go to do your magazine change, you're coming back to your workspace, but see how you're turning here, right? I want you to keep your focus toward the actual target and not reset to your workspace here, neutral, right? So that way, when you do the magazine change, you can see what the target's doing. Which brings us to the point, when we're doing the 180 turns, because I'm not stepping with my hips, right? And putting my hips or presenting my plates to the target, right? When I come to here and I present my plates, right? And my hips, when I go to workspace neutral, I'm still facing the target. So watch what happens. So if you stand here, right, you can just do finger guns. I'm gonna go to this truck and let's just showcase it like this. So put your hips on this to right here. So aim at me. Your hand. Yep. So because your hips are facing there, come back to your workspace. And then see I'm here. So now put your hips facing me. Aim, go to do your magazine change.
I'm ready for you.
You're ready for me, right? We want to keep in mind the context of when I come to my workspace, my head has to stay orientated toward what I'm looking at. Which, if I'm drawing back to neutral, I have to be aware of where my hips are facing. So that way, when I do that movement, I stay orientated toward the actual point of focus, which is, in this case, the bad guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was aware when I shot 4 and I knew I was wrong. When I felt this, I knew that I wasn't like the other drills. I wasn't facing my target.
Yep. And because we're going 180, going back and forth, what happens is we go, well, I could just game it and keep my hips here and do it like this. But if I don't move my feet, then what happens is when I go to do that magazine change part, I lose sight because I come back to my workspace, but my workspace now has me facing this direction, which now I can't really see my pistol and the target at the same time, which is why the footwork in this is so important, right? Although it seems like overkill to do all that footwork, once we get into a situation like that, then it exposes why we're doing simple things, you know, with that footwork. Cool?
I was exposed for sure when you moved to the other side.
Yeah, it's better to learn it here now, you know what I mean, than later on. So, cool. All right, let's keep going.